Uh, Welcome back to Large Man Abroad, everyone. Let's have a talk, yeah? Okay, so I get cracked up by the amount of lunacy that happens in our country, in the greater world in general, but especially America. We really take the cake when it comes to doing silly stuff. So imagine my surprise when I wake up this morning and see that Alcatraz is back on the menu. Trump, in his infinite wisdom, with everything going on in the world right now, decided to say, hey, you know what, guys? I think we need to open up Alcatraz. You know, I am not somebody who was alive in the 1960s, the last time Alcatraz was open. And I did live in San Francisco for a year right after I got out of the military. And every time I crossed the bridge to go to work in Rohnert Park, I got to see Alcatraz. You know, it was right there. Just like, it's interesting. There's no reason for it to be there. It's just it's a tourist trap at this point. But to actually make it a prison again, for me and my understanding of what Alcatraz really is because of my age, I just think of Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage in the movie The Rock. But I guess that's what we're doing now. We're going to make Alcatraz great again. We're going to open it back up. And why? Because it used to symbolize a time of law and order in this country where we actually put people in prison. At least that's what Trump said, because that implies that we don't put people in prison now. In the 1960s, it was something like 400,000 or 500,000 people in prisons in the United States. Now in America, we're looking at about 1.8 million. The chart just goes whoop. I mean, I'll put it here. But like I said, it's the strange idea that with everything that's going on right now, with the cost of living exploding, with the housing market falling apart, with homelessness running rampant, with drugs on the street, to start a new pet project of renovating and opening up Alcatraz, it doesn't make sense. But nothing makes sense. And that's the world in 2025 in America. Nothing actually makes sense. So you just kind of got to go with it. You really want to do something with Alcatraz, just turn it into an Airbnb. You'd make an absolute killing. There's a lot of crazy people out there with a lot of money. But it's just kind of like a strange audacity that in this time now, this is what we're focusing on, Alcatraz. Like, it's not even something that's in the public consciousness anymore. Like you said, this is symbolism. And this is what a lot of people don't really understand about Trump in general, right? Because a lot of the things he does is quite buffoonish. The way that he talks isn't exactly intelligent most of the time. But the guy knows symbolism, right? The guy knows when to strike. And you kind of got to give him that. But Alcatraz, I mean, number one, do we actually need more prison? One of the problems with America is we have too many laws, right? I mean, you can get arrested for anything. That's why people are terrified about being pulled over by the cops, because we know that they're looking for a reason to put you in jail, to ruin your life. It's just what they do. This is bright. And that's not what anybody wants. Nobody wants to be on the verge of going to prison all the time. We don't want to have the fear that, you know, if a cop decides to have a bad day, I'm going to jail or I'm going to get shot. That's not something people want to deal with. What it really shows Americans is that you're not taking our cause and our case seriously. The normal person who is genuinely struggling now and is looking for answers, when we look to you and the thing that you're talking about is we need to reopen Alcatraz, which is such a non-serious thing to say because it's such a joke and it's never going to happen. There's no way they're going to reopen Alcatraz, and if they did, why would they? Like I said, it's a small prison. You're not even going to put that many people in there. It's a show. Like I said, it means something to an older person from a different era. If you're referencing the 1960s, guess what? Life exactly wasn't fantastic for most of Americans in the 1960s. You know, a lot of things were happening in the 1960s, a lot of changes, and that upset a lot of people. And it's pretty obvious who that upset. But I guess that's what we need to move back to. You know, we're trying to make Alcatraz great again. We need to change the culture like it was back to the 1960s. Who wants that? Who wants to go back to the 1960s? In the 1960s, I couldn't even eat in a restaurant with any of my black friends. The food was terrible. Now listen, the cars were great. But in general, the culture back then, you know, we're coming out of the war, and I understand it. We were a manufacturing powerhouse back then. We ran the world. Our economy was super strong. But at the same time, it kind of sucked for a lot of people. But that's what this whole thing is. It's not about you and me. It's not about normal people. The concerns aren't about how we live. The concerns are about law and order. The concerns are about putting people in their place, making people afraid, making people fear that if they have a misstep, they're going to get locked up. That if you object or you disagree with, or if you are on the other side, then somehow you're violating some kind of law. You're not an American. You don't belong here. We're going to open up Alcatraz. Would you like to go there? Keep acting up and we're going to send you there, because that's where we put dissidents. Because that's what they did in the 1960s. If you're a political dissident, if you protest, they'd crack your skull and throw you in jail. I've been arrested before, back in the day, when I was a bit of a hooligan. And I remember on my way back, right, the cops put me in the car, took me back to my place, and on the way back, they said, back in the day, we wouldn't have arrested you. We would just take you to the station, beat you up, and let you go. And that stuck with me. And that's not something that anybody wants. I mean, is that the kind of power that we want to give to the government? I mean, it already has a monopoly on violence, but at the same point, do we want to make violence on citizens normal again? It's pretty clear that we're seeing the violation and the suspension of constitutional rights. So just looking at ignoring the 14th Amendment in general, where all persons within the jurisdiction of the United States are given due process. We're seeing that go out the window. So where does that end? If this is a constitutional republic, then we actually need to abide by the Constitution. We can't pick and choose, for political expediency, what rights we're going to be giving people. That's not how any of this works. It's either we're a constitutional republic or we're not. And if you're leaning towards the latter, then, maybe you should question exactly why you've gotten to the viewpoint and ideological foothold that you now reside in. Because it's not good. Because the answer to all of our problems right now isn't open in the freaking rock. It's not. It's not going to help anything or anybody. It just creates another symbol of fear and oppression. Listen, our prison system isn't something to brag about, right? The prison industrial complex is corrupt. It harvests labor off of people. Well, they're prisoners. Yeah, okay, but the laws are insane. You can get thrown in jail for any reason. Like, this isn't the land of the free that we talk about in songs. It's just not. We have a lot of freedoms, but they're quickly dwindling, and our constitutional rights apparently are up for grabs. So honestly, what's next? I think we should all be a little bit conscious when those in power talk about expanding prisons. Because if you're expanding prisons and the prison industrial complex is privatized, then you got to fill those prisons. Because the people who are making the decisions to open the prisons, those politicians that go ahead and give it the go-ahead, they're always going to be getting backhanded deals on these things. They're going to be moving around laws so they can actually get people in there. Because you're not going to have a prison that's not going to be empty. We're at 1.8 million now, right? Now, that's local jails and prisons, yes. But at the same time, that's like 1 in 200 people are locked up. Do we want to go for more than that? Are we going to say that 1 in 200 people should be locked up, should be put in jail? And we're going to expand the prisons? What's that supposed to say? That we should lock up more people? Was it 1 out of 100? 1% of people? 2% of people? Why not? How many people disagree with this administration? What, 40, 50%? The numbers keep changing every day. But maybe we can change it so we can just go ahead and put all of them in prison as well. Is that reasonable? No, it's not reasonable. It's silly. But the whole thing's silly, and that's my point. The entire thing you can't take seriously. Trump in general is a dangerous person because he is so silly and unpredictable, and it's illogical and irrational, and it's just it's spectacle. Everything is spectacle. But the danger is, for someone who's so focused on spectacle as Trump is, he can often misdirect himself. Well, he needs to be focusing on other things. And this is a time where we need to be focusing on other things. Our economy is getting hit hard, and it's about to get hit super, super hard. People are going to be going through some real hardships. And at the same time, you're talking about opening up Alcatraz. I mean, priorities, my friend, priorities. But at this point, what should we really expect? Is any of this a surprise? Should it be a surprise? No, it's not. This administration and our political system in general, right, for my entire lifetime has been an absolute clown show. But we've hit peak clown show. We're at like Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey circus at this point, except we're not abusing the elephants, we're giving them more power. And the vast majority of reasonable, logical people out here are kind of dealing with the woes of all the consequences of what's happening. And if you're not anxious about what's going on or the lack of seriousness that our politicians and leaders right now are showing us, then your priorities are also misplaced, because we should all be focused in on this, right? I mean, this is not a time to just kind of sit back and be apolitical. Like, I understand that. That's why I talk about this stuff. Our country is going in a real negative direction. It's been going in a negative direction for a long time, but the speed of the decline is just ramping up. And I mean, you just at least slow it down. give us a parachute before you push us out of the plane, because it feels like we're about to hit a free fall and no one has our back. Our government certainly doesn't have our back. The world doesn't have our back anymore because we pushed them away. So the American people at this point are essentially like an unwanted dog who got left out in the countryside, and the irresponsible parents said, it's okay, a good farmer will adopt them. It's not how this works. But like I said, it's all about spectacle. It's all about symbolism. And these things are very important. And for those who, genuinely support this kind of spectacle and just irresponsible leadership, I mean, they're going to see this and love this, because, that's an American symbol. Alcatraz? They're going to open Alcatraz? Let's put some of the illegals in there, right? I mean, that'll scare them away. Hell yeah. Listen, I've known these people my entire life, so like, I get it, right? But no, that's the world we live in. Alcatraz is opening up, ladies and gents, and we're making it great again, because it's 2025, the world's crazy, and 2026 will be crazier, and 2027 will be crazier, and by 2028, hopefully we're all still here. Not me though. I'm gonna go live on an island somewhere, because this shit's getting too crazy for me. But thanks for stopping by. I hope you guys have a great day. It's Monday. Get out there, get after it. Have a good day at work, everybody. I'm here on paternity leave. Just gonna go drink some more coffee, wait for my kid to throw up on me and piss on my shirt again. You guys have a good one.